Hi, my name is Jack Martin. I am the co-founder of 5210. So I'm going to share with you why I stopped doing apartments, single family, land development, and all other real estate asset class. And I bet my entire career on mobile home parks. A little bit about me. I'm a Midwestern boy born in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I come from an enormous family. There's 17 children in the family, all from the same set of parents. I grew up clearly recognizing that if I wanted something greater than my parents' budget could afford, I just had to go out there and work for a living and figure it out myself. So I grew up in that kind of classic Midwestern hardworking background. My business partner Nate similarly grew up in Indiana. He's an Indianapolis boy. His parents were school teachers and he grew up in a similar fashion. So both of us grew up with those Midwestern values in that Midwestern culture. And why do I share this? I think the most important thing to get right when you're considering a passive investment in any kind of real estate is the people. And if you're watching this video, you don't know this yet, but you'll discover the same thing that over 200 investors have discovered is you can get the real estate right, you can get the strategy right, you can get the location right, but if you get the people wrong, you're still probably in a tough spot. When we started 5210, the first thing that we did is we looked back at the great financial crisis around 2008. So that period of time, most real estate asset classes were suffering. There was foreclosure on every street corner. Commercial real estate was being taken back by lenders, but there was one real estate asset class that was still surviving, and not only that, it was thriving. Like it was outperforming all other real estate, and that was mobile home parks. So when we noticed that, that's when we decided we're going to go all in on this asset class. And particularly it was because we wanted to make sure that when the next 2008 GFC kind of event comes, that not only is our business going to survive, but our investor partners are also going to be protected from that volatility. So let's walk back to the genesis story of 5210. When we decided to go all in on mobile home parks, the first thing that we did is establish business architecture. So it doesn't do you a lot of good to choose the right asset class and start buying properties right out of the gate when you don't have systems and processes designed so that once you get out on the racetrack, you can actually race. So I look at a business a lot like a race car. Once you start racing, you can't go change the suspension. It's too late. You certainly can't go change the framework or the motor. So we built all of our processes and they were designed to be scalable. So we use business architecture called EOS, and it's goal-oriented business architecture that allows us to execute for the things that really matter in business to an investor. It's things like, can you do your reporting on time every 90 days? Can you distribute cash flow on time every 90 days? Can you deliver K1s in March every year on time? And these are some of the pain points that you'll see investors experience if that race car wasn't built right. So we didn't even buy a property for the first 12 months. We spent an entire year architecting the business so that once we got out on the racetrack and started buying properties, we were in a spot where we knew we could deliver on time and we could create the best experience in the industry for our investors. So let's fast forward 8 years from the purchase of our first property. Our goal was in the period of 10 years to go create a portfolio of the equivalent of 52 50-space properties. It hasn't turned out exactly like that because we started to find that larger properties are a little bit more scalable, but we're about 2/3 of the way to that goal right now. So we own 1,641 lots across 4 states. We're about to enter our 5th state. We're vertically integrated. All of our property management and construction and home sales and marketing are all in-house. We're one of the top 100 owners of mobile home parks in the United States, and I think that you won't find a better culture in the manufactured housing business than what you do at 5210. Now that you understand the thesis, let's talk about why 5210. So why are experienced investors who are seeking mobile home allocation choosing 5210 to be the sponsor of their mobile home park investments? First of all, there's 2 components to answering this question. One is the actual performance, which is the numbers associated with the investment. And the other is what I call emotional yield. It doesn't do you a lot of good to get a great yield if you have a terrible experience, and that's what the emotional yield is. So first of all, on the numbers side, the full cycle assets that we've completed, meaning we sold the properties, we gave the investment capital back, and then there was a yield on top of those. To date, those are north of 20% IRR to the LPs net of fees. Currently, across the portfolio, we report to our investors on a quarterly basis where we are with respect to how we projected the property would perform and then where we are today. So on average across the portfolio, we're 123% today, which means we're well in advance ahead of where we projected we would be at this point in time. Some of those ancillary things that lead to the best experience are we've never paused distributions, not once. We've always had cash flow to produce or to distribute, and that speaks to the stability of the asset alongside of our having built our business so that we can do it on time. We've reported on time without fail every 90 days, and you can set your clock by it. And we've delivered our K-1s to our investors on time and in many cases early so that they can have their tax appointment with their accountant. So the goal here, and one of the 4 key core values at 5210, is to deliver the best experience in the industry to all stakeholders. That includes our residents at our properties, it includes our contractors and vendors, our internal staff and employees, our investors. Everybody at 5210 deserves the best experience, and that's what we aim to deliver. So now that you've heard all about us and our track record and our background, let's talk about how you can engage with us and where the opportunities are at 5210. We have 3 general flavors of exposure that investors can get to mobile home parks. One is you can invest in a fund. A fund is essentially a portfolio, or gives you exposure to a portfolio of mobile home parks. So it's more of a broad spectrum of different assets. You can invest directly in a single property, which requires a little bit larger investment. But for some larger check writers, the focus is tax. If you write a large enough check, you can be invested alongside other large investors who will think like you do. And you could potentially have exposure to an asset where we never sell it, you get your capital back, and we avoid the tax event. And then the third thing that's coming new in 2025 is a debt fund, which will allow you to get 8 or 9% return on capital on a monthly payment. Okay, last thing that I'm going to share with you, and then I'll tell you how you can book a call directly with me. Our offerings go really fast. So when we open a new offering, they're only available to those people who have raised their hand internally and they've said they want to see the next deal that we have. Typically, we're fully subscribed in about 72 hours. We operate on a first come, first basis. So if you want exposure, you got to get to know us first. We're interested in building long-term relationships. We're not in a rush. We don't rush people into this. If it's a good fit for you, you'll know. Next step is to book a call with me, and you'll actually get on the phone with me. I'm the co-founder of the business, and we like to build a direct relationship with our investors. On that call, we can explore all the details and nuance around mobile home parks and see if that's a fit for you. And then you can ask as many questions as you want with respect to how we run our business and what your experience is going to be like.